Hey, welcome everybody. It's Ted Madromo. It's Tuesdays with Ted. Thanks to Brian Kurtz. He gave me that name for this show. But today we're going to talk with Roberta Ravella, who I met through Brian on the Titans Accelerator and through Perry Marshall and through that internet thing, that social media thing.
The interwebs.
Right, exactly. So welcome, Roberta.
Thank you.
Today we're talking about referrals from digital marketing and all kinds of fun stuff. Tell us what you do.
I help real estate agents and mostly real estate agents, but also mortgage professionals communicate their value so they can keep their commission on their terms, which is a fancy way to say develop your marketing strategy around your ideal client, your real value proposition, get it out in front of the right person so you can differentiate yourself in the marketplace, and then you're not just a realtor on a shelf.
That's so important these days with social
Yeah.
media and LinkedIn. There's so many people that we're competing against that have the same job title, the same job descriptions. So how do you help people stand out?
Well, I help them, first of all, get out of the mindset of competing, because you're right. If I'm competing, right, you and I are both in the same kind of space a bit. It's coaching, it's strategy, it's marketing, and how many coaches did you say are there on LinkedIn now? Like some ridiculous million number?
Almost 7 million last time I looked.
Right. Like, okay.
58 million people with marketer in their title.
Wow. What? And there were, at some point this past year, the number of realtors passed the number of houses listed for sale. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So, I mean, it used to be you could be what I like to call average Joe realtor, right? Where you could be the person with a shingle in the middle of town and everybody knew you, and there was Ted Realtor and Roberta Realtor, and maybe you like to go with ladies and maybe you like guys in yellow shirts. There you go. Grab a realtor. Not so much anymore, right? The ubiquitousness of the internet, the big companies that are coming in with fintech. I don't think I go a day without seeing a commercial where a realtor is represented as a phone app, right? Redfin will get you a realtor and they show someone with a phone app, not a person. So you can compete with a company that's shoving millions of dollars into the marketplace in marketing, or you can set yourself apart and say, I'm not competing, I'm different.
Yeah.
So we try to force a choice and not do the bigger, better, faster, stronger, cheaper, quicker, whatever. Fill all that out. Why are you different? Why would I choose you right now instead of anyone else later?
And things have changed so much in the last 2 years. Here, people go to open houses virtually. They don't even visit a house, and they're buying $1 million homes where I live.
Yeah.
They never even entered the place, or they got a 15-minute appointment to walk through it and then make a bid.
And hope that you can live there for the next 10 years.
And that's where you really have to count on your realtor, right? To give you more information.
Absolutely. And the level of expertise, who you're looking for, what they're experienced in, the type of person they are. Often someone who can handhold a client through that type of transaction isn't the same kind of client or same type of realtor who's a brutal negotiator, right? Or, we all have our personality traits that go into it. And what you find valuable as a client goes well beyond the tangible of, I need 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, garage. Can the dog walk outside?
Right.
Right. It goes way beyond that. The same with coaches and consultants, as you know. The value of what we bring goes way beyond those tangible items of, I'll make sure you get your ROI.
Right.
Right.
I went to this school and I graduated and I've been doing this for 20 years and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Stand in a line.
Right.
And it's long.
And right in with the other millions of competitors.
Right. Right.
So you talk about getting the right message in front of the right people at the right time? How do you do that?
Yes. So one of the things I discuss quite a bit and help my clients do is get their message right. Because a lot of times you see, fancy click funnels. They jump in this program and 30 days from now you'll have a funnel that works. Do I even know what a funnel means? I certainly kind of know what a landing page is, but do I need it? Like, you spend 10 grand on a website, on this, that, whatever, when in actuality, your message is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is who you serve, who you help, what are you helping them do? What's the benefit? What's the problem that you're solving? Are you stating it clearly? Do I know it's for me? Can I tell it's for me when you say it to me? Or that it's not for me, right? Which is just as important and often more important. Who is this not for?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Pre-qualifying. Yeah.
yeah, using your marketing to do the subtract work for you, right?
Right.
Yeah, 4 out of 100 are going to buy. I'd rather not talk to the, what is that, 96 others if I don't have to, right? Can I just get to the 4? Well, your message should help you do that work.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've solidified that message, and it's not something you're married to. I mean, I'm sure you've changed your unique selling proposition more than once.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, it melds, it grows with your business. It grows with you as a person.
Right.
Um, changing words that work and don't work, communicating in the language that your client would use so they can find you. And then once you have your message, making sure it's out there where your clients are
Mm-hmm.
so they can get it, hear it, digest it, and then find you.
Right. So if you're selling high-end products, being on TikTok may not be the right place at the right time,
Yeah.
but it may be. You never know anymore.
You never know anymore. I swear, I thought I would never be on TikTok. I'm like, that's so ridiculous. Now I have to take it off my phone. There's a lot more than dancing people on TikTok, but I can watch dancing people on TikTok for a while.
That's a good distraction. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but if it's not a medium that you want to master, I mean, there's a million places to go, right?
So if you're just getting started, like I'm a new realtor. How do I find where my ideal clients would be hanging out?
Well, first you want to know who they are, right? Some of it's demographic. It's a different demographic on Pinterest than TikTok, on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. Also, I really encourage my clients, do not neglect real life. People still network. People still hang out at church. They hang out at the PTA. They hang out at the coffee shop. They
Yeah.
hang out in email. They hang out people actually open their mail these days because
Yeah.
they don't get a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So where are they in that space, right? If you're looking for first time home buyers, your people might be on Facebook, but they're also hanging out in their mailbox, hoping their rent doesn't get raised tomorrow. So send them a mailer.
Right. Yeah, that's
So
happening all with raising your rents. I've seen people double their rents.
yeah,
It's crazy.
I just learned a new term, Ted. Try this one out. Financial eviction.
Financial eviction.
It's when they raise your rent so much in one setting that you can no longer afford to live there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happening in Orlando. It's happening in Houston. It's happening in Atlanta. I haven't seen it so much in California, maybe because everything's already so expensive in California. I don't know.
It's insane here.
It is.
There,
But these are also things to capitalize on, not in a gross way. Like, you don't want to capitalize on the bad things that are happening to people, but it's certainly something to talk about
right.
as a message.
That's a good thing for content. Like, yeah, people say, well, I don't know what to write for content. It's like, well, talk about, with rents. You can't afford to rent. You can't afford to buy. What are you supposed to do? Just, write your opinion to that and how you
Yeah,
can help people navigate that.
definitely. So I would love to hear a little bit about how you capitalize on news type content like that. Do you just, because you write, I think I get an email from you every other day, maybe?
I was doing every day and I've been taking a break lately, kind of goofing off, going skiing and but
You
instead
got to do it.
across a great copywriter who I met through Laura Belgray. She posted on LinkedIn and shared his content. So now I wrote a story about how he wanted to write for Red Wing shoes. He loved their boots. So he wrote a story about how he loves his shoes and all these different examples of his grandfather working in the steel mills wearing them. and he put it on LinkedIn and he got the attention of them and he wrote copy for them.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. So you tell those stories and weave in the products or the companies you want to work with, you get their
Yeah.
attention.
I think you can tell almost any story and connect it with almost any end result that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like
My life,
building a muscle. You got to just write a little bit every day or every other day so you get good at it.
right. And then figure out how to connect them in.
Right.
Yeah. My last email was about how being cold can help your cells um, let go of the bad or broken cells.
Mm-hmm.
Like your body starts building better mitochondria if you let yourself get cold.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've listened to way too many longevity podcasts. It's my new thing. I'm going to turn 50 in 2 years. So I'm trying to figure out, it's not about living longer. It's about living longer in really good health. Right.
Exactly. I'm
But
there.
yeah, who knew? Right. So, I was just at the Perry Marshall seminar and, it's so much stuff. You just get all this like glut of information and it happens to us listening to the LinkedIn lives, being on different programs, you just get these gluts of information. And the whole thing with using cold, it's basically uncomfortableness. You can use cold, you can use heat. It's exercise that pushes you. But we tend to, as red-blooded Americans, if one's good, 20's better.
Right.
So,
I need that extra strength. Not
right? But the
just
whole
the
thing, it doesn't,
actual.
yeah, if you push it too far, you just hurt yourself. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Like what works, and somebody's going to fact check me here, but check out Peter Attia's podcast if you don't believe me. What works in zone 2 workout or what works being a little bit cold doesn't work in hypothermia. It doesn't work in when you're in zone 4 workout. It's your body will find inefficiencies when it's stressed, but only to a point.
Hmm.
So to me, it's the same as your business, right? Your business needs to be stressed, but only to a point.
Right.
Like if you're so stressed out, you're not sleeping, you're not eating well, you're gaining weight, you're grumpy all the time because there's just so much going on, everything's out of control. This is not the kind of stress that it becomes inefficiency. It doesn't get rid of our inefficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just in that right level of discomfort consistently, your business will start throwing out the stuff that's inefficient, that doesn't work.
Interesting.
So that was
Something
my
to do,
last.
like when you post content on social media, the algorithms keep putting it in front of certain people that are interacting with it, right?
Yes,
So some people fall off your radar, but if you say happy birthday to them, all of a sudden they're back on your radar and they're seeing your posts.
absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
that
do
works.
you go in and pick who, like a certain number of people that you want to comment on every day, or how do you keep up with your commenting?
I've been so overwhelmed lately. I've been doing a lot of commenting. I've been on a lot of podcasts and LinkedIn Lives, and I'm getting a lot of referrals from that as opposed to spending time commenting and sharing. I share all my emails on LinkedIn and social
Okay.
media,
Okay.
but
So yeah, I mean
haven't
that's
been
the 80/20
engaging
of
a
it.
lot with people, but they're finding me through being on podcasts.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean that's you finding the method to where your people are. Okay, they're listening to me on these podcasts. So you can either comment one at a time or
right.
you can speak to all of them in one podcast or several podcasts, right? Like
Yeah.
there they are, just making sure you have the right message.
Have
And I
you heard of Spark Toro?
I haven't. What is that?
Rand Fishkin, who created SEO Moz years ago. So it's a tool where you can type in who you're looking for, and it shows you like what magazines they're subscribed to or what podcasts they listen to, what YouTube channels they watch based on demographic information.
Wow. And that's Spark, Toro.
Yeah. So then you kind of just go engage with people that are on those podcasts or listening to the podcast. And a lot of them you can actually comment on the podcast of certain episodes. You can see who's commenting. You engage with that person. It's like, hey, we're listening to the same podcast. You have something in common.
It's a great way to go about it, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, it's networking online, which we do quite a bit of these days anyway.
Right. Yeah, I was doing some work with a lot of people I found on SparkToro. Got on their podcast that way. So it's a great way to
Okay.
be on more podcasts.
Definitely. I need to be on more podcasts, on more speaking.
Yeah.
That's on my list for the
Yeah.
Q2.
Yeah, we can jump on a Zoom call sometime. I'll show you SparkToro, how you can find where your audience is, what podcasts they're listening to. You reach out to those podcasts. Say, I'd love to be a guest. Works really well.
That's perfect. Well, it's like list sharing almost, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
that is cool. Well, almost everybody's, I won't say everybody's, but almost everybody's profession has somebody who has the same audience, but they're not selling the same thing.
Right. And also, it's like Perry Marshall taught us, right angle marketing. Remember that from years ago?
Oh, yeah, I do. I talk about it all the time.
Right. Yeah. So what else are they listening to? Or what else do they do? Where else do they engage? It's not specific to their business. You go,
Right. Or outside of their demographic.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the first right angle marketing things I discovered, and then when I discovered it, it was like, oh, duh. When you're marketing to renters, they're dog owners. A lot of renters who want to buy a house are dog owners because, Fido can only stay in the patio for so long.
Right.
And that's a conglomeration of all different kind of people. It's not just college educated from the Midwest, not religious or religious. So
Drive
once
them
you
in
get outside
the
of just, yeah,
van.
right. Once you break out of just thinking about demographics,
Right.
does Spark Toro have other things than demographics, or you just go with the demographics and figure it out after?
Oh, it leads you really deep into a lot of things. I haven't gone to the very advanced level of it, but you can go pretty deep on the free version, and then they have one, it's a paid version. It's not very expensive at all for the amount of information, and they're really, every month they're releasing updates to make it even better.
That's really cool. And there's so many data aggregators out there now that have made it easy to find who you're looking for.
Right. So one of the things you talk about is, how do you establish yourself as an authority? And I hate it when people call themselves an authority or a thought leader. I'm a thought leader.
Right.
So how do you establish yourself so people are calling you an authority?
Well, point number one, don't say you are. Show, right? Show, don't tell. So how do you show that you're an authority? You tell your stories, you tell your client stories, you show your reviews that you're getting from your client, and you use them to direct people that, hey, if you want this same thing that
Right.
they got, you can get this. I love the stories in doing it, dissecting, like you're saying, going in and seeing an article and reposting it and showing your opinion. Like we were saying about the fiscal eviction. Okay, here's an article on fiscal eviction. This is my opinion
Right.
on what's going to happen and what you can do about it. I think, again, it goes back to message. What's the message you want to get across? Communicate it clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And just sometimes the simple act of being clear boosts your authority position more than anything. Because there's so many people out there in the market who are anyone who wants to buy, sell, or lease a house.
Right.
I can do all your real estate needs. Well, I'm back in that same long line then, right? So tell me, who do you help? Is it first time buyers that you specialize in? Is it people who have dogs, that are in a band, that love knitting, that you help? Like, who is it that you're speaking to, and what problem do you solve for them? You start talking in that language as opposed to the old school of, hey, I'm a realtor, you need a realtor, are you buying, trying to sell?
Right.
You know, getting out of that feature mentality into the benefits. This is the benefit you're going to get. This is the result you're going to get. And anytime you can put social proof with it, reviews, comments, text messages that you've gotten, video reviews are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You can add that social proof with it, then that puts you square in an authority position.
Yeah. One thing that helped me over the years is when I first wrote Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business. Perry Marshall was supposed to co-author that with me. And he's like, I'm not even on LinkedIn. You just write the book. So once you write a book like that, people just perceive you as an expert. And then you're on different podcasts and you just put it out there. And if you can write a book, it doesn't have to be, 500-page book, just something that demonstrates your expertise. And then
Yeah.
that got me down the LinkedIn path. And I've just been doing that for the last 10 years now.
It definitely opens big doors.
Yeah.
It's something we're doing in my group coaching right now is we're going through developing the authority position. I think a lot of people have that ebook, that little 10-pager in them and they don't know it.
Yeah.
Because, for most realtors, if you said, hey, I want to sell my house right now, what mistakes could I make? Well, a good realtor would say it doesn't look like there are mistakes, but there are some whoppers. Let me tell you what they are.
Yeah.
It's an ebook.
Right.
Right? That's a 5 to 10-page ebook.
Mm-hmm.
Mistake sellers make in a hot market.
Yep.
One of them being not having somewhere else to live.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I think it's kind of gotten muddled because anybody can publish now with KDP or with just putting a PDF online. But at the same time, I think everybody who's been in a business for any amount of time has at least one ebook in them.
Right. And if you have a consistent brand and a consistent message and you post on social media a couple times a week even, they keep seeing your name, your company name, and they get familiar with you and they begin to trust you because they keep seeing you. That's my perception from what's happened to me over the last 20 years.
No, I think I got into Perry. In fact, I know I got into Perry's world because somebody recommended 80/20 sales and marketing to me. And then I clicked on one of the click-through links and I got on the email list.
Mm-hmm.
And then I then I got in his membership group. Then I took a Facebook ad course.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've done his mastermind twice and I've been to like 3 seminars.
Right.
And that was all from a penny plus shipping, right? Book.
Right.
And it's a great book, mind you, but yeah.
I bought his ebook 15 years when it first came out 15 or 20 years ago about Google AdWords. And I went down that same path. I was in his roundtable for a couple of years. He actually mentioned me in 2 of his books too. So
that's cool.
Pretty cool traffic.
Yeah, it definitely gives you you get that cross-pollination, right?
So investing in mentors and coaches, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've gotten some of my best clients and my best connections from those coaching connections, consulting connections.
Right.
Even if I'm just gone in for a minute, something inexpensive or a free webinar and connected with that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you 80/20 all of this? You talk about, the 80/20 power curve. We all know
absolutely.
that.
So once you start doing it, right, you get your message out there and you get it on a few platforms. You're sending the email, you're putting it in the snail mail. You're going to a networking group where your people are, like they're in all these places. You'll start to see what works best.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you're going to find out that TikTok is a waste of time, so you can stop it.
Right.
Throw it out. Or maybe you're going to see that Facebook's not really working for you, but TikTok plus networking are off the charts.
Yeah.
So you need to do the measure, right? We don't know if we don't measure. So keep track of what's working. Some of it works in conjunction. A lot of times people see you on Facebook and buy off your website or see your Google reviews and messenger you on Facebook. So there's a conjunction in there. But the idea that you have to do everything is just so off base. Pick a few, measure it, see what's working. And if something's really working well, double down on it.
Right. Yeah.
And the same for the client. If you start seeing, if I start seeing that all my clients are kind of like Ted, okay, then I'm going to start marketing dollars going that way.
Right.
Right. The people who buy from you over and over, like Perry can see you and I and say, okay, Roberta and Ted came in through my book and they didn't just come in through my book. They've spent pretty darn good money with me. You don't go reinvent the wheel.
Right.
You say, okay, how do I get the same client to come through the same path over and over again?
Right.
And that's your Was Perry would say the 20% and the 20%.
And that's why a lot of those tools you were talking about, the analytics, there's so much data out there. If you can start measuring like who's coming to your website, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Like the
Yeah.
link.
Notice the comments and right.
Right. And speak their language. Well, copywriting 101, right? Look at what they're saying online, use the same words they're using, and they resonate with that.
It is copywriting 101, but a lot of us don't, as business owners, don't learn copywriting
Exactly.
until, they see somebody like you who says you need to put out content, and they're like, okay, Ted, what's that supposed to mean?
Right.
Because, they teach you that in real estate school.
No. No, we never thought we'd have to learn marketing at this level. I became a coach and I wasn't getting business. So I started hanging out with Perry Marshall, learn
Yeah,
marketing, Dan Kennedy, all the big marketers. I never
exactly.
thought I'd be doing so much marketing. I wanted to be a coach.
Hell, I was in sales for 20 years in the mortgage business, and now 5 years as a coach, right? But once I learned that marketing can do so much of what you need done before you even see the person that you can potentially sell to. You can disqualify somebody who doesn't want your product, who can't afford your product, who doesn't like you,
Right.
who you don't like all those things can be done with your marketing. So by the time they get to you, you're way down the street in sales. It's like
Yeah.
getting a referral
Yeah. Because
as
they see
opposed to a
you
lead.
and they've read about you, they've read your content, they know you.
Yeah, they know if they like you or not, pretty
Don't
much.
write really boring generic content. Write stuff that has your flavor to it.
Absolutely. Perry's been pushing me pretty hard on that, and I've resisted, but I'm getting better.
Yeah, one thing I learned when I was in the roundtable, I kind of came up with myself, but you take your manuscript, go to upwork.com if you have a book.
Hmm.
And I hired 5 social media writers, and I've got US based. I paid, the higher prices. I gave them each 2 hours, said create social media posts for this out of my manuscript. I got like 300 social media posts. So now I
Wow.
push them out to Instagram, I push them out to Twitter, automated. So my brand is being pushed out there 2 or 3 times a day. And LinkedIn, you're not supposed to post that often now. So I just do 1 post a day on LinkedIn.
Okay.
It keeps my
So
name in front of people. Maybe they see me on Instagram, maybe they see me on Twitter, maybe they see me on LinkedIn, maybe YouTube. But all
yeah,
that stuff's out there automatically. So it's giving me lots of exposure.
yeah. I mean, it takes a little upfront work, but once you get it going and you can automate it, you even forget about it, right?
Yeah. It's been running for 3 years.
That's nice. So
Yeah.
you're saying that you should only post to LinkedIn once a day or
That's
even
what
less?
they're saying these days. Yeah, once a day. I used to do 4 or 5 a day, like a
Okay.
article from Forbes, an article from Inc., some of my own content. But some of my friends have been researching the algorithm. They say once a day. LinkedIn even says it, maybe 3 to 5 posts a week. It's more than
Okay. Yeah.
so.
And I was like scrubbing mine up to be super professional when I put them on LinkedIn, but I stopped doing it. Now I'm not quite as loosey goosey as Facebook or especially my Facebook private group.
Right.
But it's like, okay, yeah, I was on the beach and I shot a video. Here it is.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
People get to know you. They trust you. If it's too polished, I think people don't trust you as much anymore.
I don't think so either. Like they're on to you, right?
Yeah. So just be yourself. People want to do business with Roberta, the real one, not the fake one.
Right. Like when they finally get to you, they want you to look the same, sound the same,
Right.
have the same attitude. Yeah.
We took those speakers courses. You stand here to say this kind of word. Go over to the other side of the stage and position yourself this way. It's like, it's too fake.
It is.
I guess
Although I
we've
need to be
seen it
better
all
about
so
my
much.
hands.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Yeah. Be yourself, right? Put it out
Absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the best message delivery system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People trust you more. Well, you see those polished pictures of those speeches, then you meet the person in person. It's like they're a totally different person. Like,
Like when did they take that picture? It's that the Realtor Barbie brand,
yeah.
you know? Like Maybe in the 80s or even the 90s, but not now.
Right.
Especially not after COVID. Nobody's got tolerance for bullshit after COVID. It's
Yeah,
over.
it's true.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Roberta, how can people learn more about what you do?
Certainly you can find me on LinkedIn, Roberta Ravella, Ravella.
Okay.
That's also
Put it in
my
for you.
website. Okay. My website's robertaravella.com. And you can find me on Facebook. I also have a private Facebook group called the Relationship Realtor Marketing Group.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This has been great.
Thank you.
We could go on for hours.
I know. Geek out on the marketing stuff.
Yeah, I know. Started going down that rabbit hole. You got to know it now. You can't just
Absolutely.
go on, be a realtor and put your shingle out. You got to know how to market, or a coach,
Absolutely.
or whatever. Fill in the blank.
Yeah. Yeah, because a very large corporation is spending millions. So, yeah,
Yeah,
you got to figure it out.
right. Exactly. Or follow us. We'll teach you.
Yeah, exactly. The easy way, right?
Right. Hire the best.
Yes.
Well, cool. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Ted.
We'll talk